Dos, thoughts on episode 3, bro?
Well, lessons were learnt in episode 3. So I'm just going to highlight my silent treatment update. And I would recommend not doing that.
All right, let's jump straight into it here, brother. Let's kick it off with a good old-fashioned weekly update.
My light bulb in my room went out, and I was like, all right, I need to go get this changed. And I knew it was a twister because I took it out. And so I went down to Bunnings, grabbed the light bulb, came back, plugged it in, and it just wasn't very bright. What the hell? Is it just not a high enough wattage or something? So then I went and got another one, and I knew exactly what I needed. I knew the extra wattage, so I just grabbed it, came back. And then I didn't grab a freaking screw-in one, so it just wouldn't even go in anyway. So I was like, oh, crap. So I went down the third time, got a higher wattage, got a screw-in one, came back, plugged it in. And then I realized there's this setting on my light. There's like a remote for it. And if you hit the middle button, the light changes its brightness.
What?
So I could have just used the first freaking light bulb. I just had to hit the button.
Oh my God, dude.
I was just like, you are not an adult, Hayden. You are not ready. Do I go back to high school? What do I do? And the jokes about how many people does it take to change a light bulb? No. How many light bulbs does it take to change a light bulb?
Brilliant, Dos. Well, clearly light bulb's not your strongest suit, but you might be able to help me on one. My weekly update is I'm actually really looking forward to tomorrow. I've been making a bit of a habit of getting down to the local races. Horse racing, huge thing in outback Queensland, I'm sure. Is there any good horse races in Melbourne?
There's one. There's one that's a bit around. Yeah.
All right. But out here, it's huge. It's kind of like the weekly catch-up for so many people. It's a bit of a socialite event as well. A who's who, a bit of a flex, win some money. I'll be working on the bar. Love working on the bar. I think working on the bar is the best way to spend a lot of occasions where you would be out normally getting wasted. Firstly, everyone comes to you. And I feel like there could be actually a rogue guide in working a bar because you might have some advice for me.
Oh, I know how to work a bar. Don't you worry about that.
But I reckon we could possibly have a rogue guide to running a bar a little bit later on in the series. But tonight, we've got a really a special program, one close to our heart, because friends are close to our heart.
Friends.
Dos, we're going to give a bit of a rogue guide on friends, making them, keeping them, deciding whether to get rid of them or not, and possibly sussing out who are the ones that are worth being lifelong friends. Firstly, do you have any rogue experiences making friends?
I have one. We call it the story of Scott.
The story of Scott, eh?
Yeah, so it was a couple of years ago now. So I was going to uni games and I didn't know a single person except for this one guy that I was already friends with on Facebook. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I've never met this bloke in my life. And then he was in the exact same boat. So he didn't know a single person that was going. And just because we were friends on Facebook, we just like threw a little bit of banter at each other. And then when we got there, then it turns out we were both, the two biggest alcoholics, on the trip.
Yeah.
And I think we both ended up getting banned from different mini games. So, and I think we must have become friends on a night out when we were both so drunk that neither of us remembered it.
But you woke up the next morning like, did we just become best friends?
Well, no, we woke up 2 years after we were Facebook friends.
Whoa, big sleep.
Yeah, because he was in Melbourne, I was in Geelong. We were in different cities. And somehow we were Facebook friends for 2 years before this uni games.
And that Scott ended up becoming one of your housemates, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. He's definitely one of my best mates, which is a pretty funny story how that all worked out.
There you go. And I think possibly we might have a particular step where someone like Scott becomes particularly handy, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the guide. As for me, and also along the same lines as potentially your friendship with Scott, I was in... I booked a solo climb of this mountain in Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro.
Sounds like you had lots of friends.
Yeah, for my 21st as well. Everyone else was out there having like sleep. Whoa, slow it down. I had a really, really spiritual 21st. It was incredible. The day before I departed for this solo trip though, my guide asked if I was okay with this American joining us. This American called Chris. And I was like, yeah, get Chris on. Get the bro Chris on. Next thing I know,
every frat guy ever.
Yeah, and I was ready for it. I was like, sweet, this will be fun. I mean, I would have loved to have done this solo. had a bit of a... I was a big solo traveler at that time, and there might be a road guide on traveling solo coming up later on. But I was a big solo traveler. I thought about it for a bit, but I was like, nah, stuff it, let him on. I mean, that's fine. Anyway, Chris was a girl. It was Christine or something. I don't know. I know. This is getting exciting. So we climbed it together. We spent a little bit of time together. We didn't have much in common. She was actually had a really cool life. She lived on a boat in the San Francisco harbor, which is pretty hype. Chris actually is a listener. Morning, Chris. Hopefully America's treating you well. Shout out to Chris.
Good morning,
Chris,
America.
one of the big fans. Always in the DMs. Loves getting in the DMs of the road guide with us.
Sorry, yeah, the road guide DMs.
Yeah, wait. Anyway, so we climbed it together, which was fine. It was good. Next thing I know, she was like, "Hey, let's go do some safaris." And I was like, "Oh no!" I was, impoverished. I was a uni student. This had bankrupted me essentially. I was already into the bank of mum and dad to get me back home. And she's like, "No, don't worry about it. I'm going to shout you both." And safaris are like $500 each. So I ended up cashing in another $1,000 worth of travel just because I'd said yes to this random yank that ended up climbing Kilimanjaro with me. So really, you don't know where you're going to find friends, and you don't know just how much money that friend will eventually give to you. So don't knock them back. Take a chance. They could be rich.
No, that's 100% on the money. I've especially recently, I've definitely learnt to be very selective with my friends and their wealth levels.
Because we're at the age now where you realise, like, okay, so this, after 30 more years of doing this, I'll be retiring, or whatever, 40 years retiring, this amount of money. Oh, that's probably not going to be enough for me to enjoy the rest of my life. You're right. We've come to the conclusion there's a certain wealth barrier to making friends at the moment.
For sure. And I think this podcast is kind of like, we're both in this stalemate of just looking at each other and be like, all right, who's going to make actual money here?
Yeah.
So that we can both retire. It's very much at that stage, and I'm definitely looking at you to buy out Longreach.
Dos, before we travel too far down this road, let's jump into the road guide to friends.
Yes. Well, first things first, step one, make some friends.
What?
Yeah, there you go. You got to break out of that 90%, that infamous 90% of socially awkward.
The rogue 90%.
The rogue 90%.
You want to be in the rogue 10%.
Exactly, yeah. And that's what we're trying to get you all there. We're trying to funnel you into that 10%. With our listener base, if anything, that 10% is probably getting less because no one's really listening, but we'll have a crack. So basically, and to find those friends, you want to find them through, hobbies, your career, it could be workmates, it could be sports, probably the biggest one. Sport,
huge.
Uni, everything like that. And just be yourself, be weird. People like weird, and people just get around that. It's just literally that easy. Just put yourself out there.
Yeah, 100%. The easiest thing to be able to strike up a conversation with someone is when you've got something in common. Best way to know if you've got something in common is if you're doing something in your free time, chances are you're not doing that because it makes you miserable. You're doing that because you enjoy it, because you're a little bit enthusiastic about it. So when you go and ask, "Oh mate, how's his day? What's he been doing?" He can give you a good story that you both know you'll be interested in because it lines up with your interest. 100%, make some friends, go through your hobbies, go through your career, go through sport. It's a winner. I'm totally on board with that, Dos.
Sweet.
But from there, just because you make friends with someone and you go, "Oh, yeah, this guy's good, this guy's fun, maybe we've hung out a few times," doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be a top tier friend. And you always know who your top tier friends are. Back in the day, maybe it was on your MySpace top 8. I'd find that you typically would see the best 8 friends you've got on your MySpace top 8, and that would occasionally shift around and shake. But the modern equivalent of the MySpace top 8 is the Facebook group chat. Or, I don't know if Instagram does group chat. I'm a bit of a boomer when it comes to Instagram, Dos. But
It does, yes.
Okay,
even
there you
Snapchat
go.
does. Everything goes group chat. There were Tinder groups. Oh, bring back the Tinder groups.
Okay, well, I'm not too much of a group chat connoisseur, but I will say on
you're a
Facebook.
Solo traveler.
Exactly,
you highlighted
dude.
that point very early on.
Exactly, dude. So group chats, and now there is an absolute politics. There's diplomacy. There's hierarchies to this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There's always the big group chat. The group chat where you've got all your friends from, say, school, the school group chat, or maybe your footy team has the footy team group chat. Your work has a group chat, even though you probably can't express yourself
Even
too
your
much in the
friend
work
group.
group chat. And all those guys, love them to death. Guys and girls, would definitely strike up a conversation with you, find out how you're going. But from there, you have the breakaway group chats and the elite small group chat, which unfortunately for the big group chat is typically the one where you go to gossip about what the fuck is going on with the people in the big group chat.
That's the juicy chat. That's the chat. If you get your friend's phone, it's not about like making status on their Facebook. It's about going through their small group chats nowadays. Get the goss.
Break your own heart, devastate your own self-esteem, jump into someone's small group chat and just find out what they really think. Find out what they're saying about you when you're expressing yourself in your mind in the privacy of your big group chat. It does get pretty dirty, and I don't want to say that I'm in too many small group chats, but look, I'd be lying. I'm a bit of a small group chat magnet because I'm what you call a great friend, a really good friend, and that's why you should take my advice. Step 2, group chat compatibility. Make sure you suss out if that person that you're friends with can go into a bunch of group chats, a big group chat, or maybe a small elite group chat.
How do you find that out? Get on the piss with it. It's that easy. That's step 3. It's literally, if you can survive a sesh with someone, you just tend to build this, this tight-knit relationship that just no one else can compete with.
Yeah.
And like as the glorious dictator of Victoria said, get on the beers. And,
get on the beers.
Get on the beers. We preach it and we live by it. And it's also the greatest friendship kind of detector.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Because mostly it's like you make regrets together as well.
Yeah.
And the stronger that relationship becomes, the more nights out you have together. Nothing bonds you more than that. And then you get enough info from each other that you could basically put each other in jail.
Exactly.
And
that's a core.
That's
key.
Best friends.
Yeah. And when you can trust them, when you're like, that person, there's no chance. You know they're airtight with it. They would take a serious level of interrogation that most people wouldn't be interested in interrogating your particular deadbeat friend to get that information. So also, I like to do it early. I like to get it out of the way early. You don't have to get super smashed with them straight away, but I reckon you need to go out, have a decent sesh, have a decent night, maybe as a precursor to the big one. But I feel like you just need to get them out of the comfort zone, have a few beers, spend a few hours together, just relying on chat, relying on the beers potentially to boost that chat. And that way you can sort of, you get a good vibe from them. I've found out here, I live by it. Try and get them in the pub as soon as possible, have a chat, and it breaks down all the barriers.
Yeah. Are we still talking about friends?
For this episode, yes, Dos, but your particular episode, I don't know. I feel like your episode we may not see the light of day. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So from there, step 4, you need to establish whether these people that you're making friends with, or this person you've made friends with, is going to be a short or long-term friend. Now you can't tell straight away. You don't just go necessarily, this person, it's a spur of the moment thing. It's more obvious when you're overseas. Most of the time, the friends that you make overseas, sure, they can be long-lasting friendships. Your roommate Curly and our friend Curly is a great example of that. And funnily enough, travel group chats seem to have a decent lifespan on them. Shout out Thor. Shout out Thor. What's Thor's thing? He'd bring that guitar out every single time. And he listens, by the way, so just be careful what you say about him.
He'd always crack lister, but he was a short-term travel friend. And, but we totally appreciate that shorter time together, definitely.
Yeah, and he had a rogue way of making friends. It's kind of a basic way of making friends, but
oh my god, yeah.
He would sit at the fire or at the table and pass the aux around basically. Hey, pick a song. I find that I can find out so much of what I want to know about someone from the type of music they listen to. Thor, sorry to throw under the bus like that, but it was pretty funny.
And was ahead of the times. He was.
Dos and I would always look at each other every time we did it because we spent nights with him, and it was always a different group of other people. And he'd play that same strat over and over. And I tell you what, wasn't a bad strat.
Yeah, consistency is king. Yeah. Well, I had Taylor Swift blaring, and then all of a sudden I didn't have any friends, and I was like, all right, cool. Well played.
Well played. You've isolated me. Well done.
Didn't expect that.
But sometimes, particularly out in Longreach where I am, it's a very high turnover town. There's plenty of locals, people that have been here for a while and will continue to be here. People like me that have moved here and want to stick around for a fair few years. And there's people that will be here for 5 or 10 weeks at a time. People working in the hospital, at school. you do strike up. You make good friends with these people. You do great things. I went on a run from Longreach to Ilfracombe, which is 27 k's the other day, with this bloke I'd met the day before. He's a student that's in town for another 2 weeks as a doctor, a physio actually, and we had a great chat, and I learnt tons about him. We hit it off straight away, but and we actually talked about it while we ran. We were like, this is it for us, bruh. This is it's great. We're having a great time, hitting it off. Tons in common, sharing personal stuff, because you can get that. You share real personal stuff because unfortunately, sorry Andy, I'm not going to see you again.
Oof, rip. I can definitely understand that. I think a lot of the time when I hit it off with someone, there's plenty of cardio afterwards, but I will admit it's definitely...
we're on the Friends episode still, dude. We're on the Friends episode. What are you doing?
Same thing, isn't it? Short-term friends.
Wait, is there more to the story of Scotty that I know?
No, Scotty's long-term.
There's some friends are long-term friends. They're the friends you maybe met as a kid who, despite you never talking to them for maybe 5 or 10 years, you'll always like that person. You'll always want to see them succeed, see them doing well, maybe get invited to their wedding out of the blue. And then there's the friends that you maybe only meet once or twice early on, like Vados and I. Met each other a few times, took a few years off, and then suddenly we're BFFs for life.
Yeah, it's that easy. And it's and those long-term friends, you really want to be the successful ones.
Boom, step 5.
Step 5. You want to leech off their success.
100%.
No one wants to work forever. And
no.
Especially when you're like me and Plus, when you're both single. We're not really trophy husband material.
No.
As much as my Tinder says it might be. But we gotta work on our friends. Our friends are the way we're gonna get there. So that's basically step 5. Leech off your friends.
100%. And Dos and I have had frank conversations with each other, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, with this podcast. When one of us gets, has a viral moment, or gets some notoriety and some fame another way, this will be our gateway to leech off that person. You'll be able to say, hey, I was evidently with this person before he was famous. Promote people to come back to the pod, and maybe you can get your own buzz, or I can get my own sort of celebrity just as a leech, and leeching off success. That's what friendship's all about. It's being a leech.
Yep, that's it. Like the Academy Awards, the Brownlow, they all have +1s. That +1, it's just who's going to take that +1 role.
Exactly. So if you're listening at the moment, hey, and if you're looking for friends, maybe your net worth is well and truly over the $1 million, maybe $2 million mark.
Slide in those
DMs, whatever. We'll be your best friend, and we'll never let you down.
Yeah, we'll give you a shout out on the podcast.
We'll give you a shout out
anyone. So it's got to only select few that make it.
Yeah, exactly. We wouldn't shout out every name that comes up in this podcast.
100%. Like, just on that though, I do want to shout out the East Coast of Australia, just for being in the same time zone as me. I do appreciate that.
There you go. I reckon those are some great tips for making friends. And I think if there's 100% of the world's population that tunes in, 90% of them are socially awkward, I think we've just done a massive humanitarian contribution to society. Hell yeah.
I reckon it's nearly 15%.
Tag a friend in the Instagram post of this. Well, tag a friend and just let them know, hey mate, I'm leeching. I'm hoping you're successful because I've got nothing going for me.
Yeah, tag your leech friends.
Yeah, be honest. Don't lie to your friends. Don't hide anything from your friends. Leech them.
Be open about it. Honesty's key.
Dos, mystery guest today, he's not a leech, is he?
He is the king leech. He is daddy's leech 101.
Oh no, don't do him like that, bro. Don't do him like that.
I'm sorry, but Nelson, welcome to the potty.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, you fucking dementor, because you suck the life out of me.
All right, we're all friends here, boys. Remember, this is the road guide to friendship. So if we could just shake hands in a COVID-safe way, in a lockdown way, and carry on. Nels, can you start off? Tell us a little bit about yourself, dude.
What do you want to know?
About yourself. It was explicitly described in the question. Dude.
I'm taking this podcast down. You're all coming down with me. Me and Darcy taking you down from the inside.
In your own time, Nels. In your own time. The question still stands when you're ready.
I'm just your everyday bloke, mate. I'm just your environmental scientist from Geelong who's just trying to save the world one tree at a time.
Everyday bloke.
Yeah.
You've just described the embodiment of a non-everyday bloke. A pretty unusual specimen, that's for sure.
To be honest, I'm a piece of shit, but that's it is what it is.
Well, I think me and Nels met in a bit of a hostile kind of scenario, actually.
I'm not surprised at all, judging by what's happened so far.
Everything Hayden does is
Nelson was
hostile.
probably
90% of the people he knows, it's like, oh, how do you know him? Oh, it was a pretty hostile situation.
because they're the 90% of the socially awkward. Well, I feel like it's justified that I tell the story how me and Nelson met. So we kind of had the same friends. Nelson was just finding his way into it. And he worked at one of our favourite bars, and he was the bartender there.
That's not how we met.
And mate, I don't really remember anything before that.
No,
so.
Jaden Keeley was my housemate,
I
and you
just
came
remember.
over to pick him up and me up to go to the reverse raffle at Geelong West. And so you picked me up in your piece of shit Subaru, and then we went and got cash out, and then we became friends.
I don't remember.
This sounds so much less dramatic than whatever Duss was gearing up.
Oh,
I had a
I know
great
exactly
story.
what he was going to
This
talk
is
about.
why you don't have your own podcast.
No. He was about to talk about the story where, I was working at a bar, and then Hayden asked for a glass of water, and then he threw it over my head. Well, funny story, because I turned around and I got him back. So, at the end of the
You got me
day,
back.
only a snake throws a glass of water, because snakes like water.
Well, snakes don't have arms or hands, Nelson, but you are the environmental scientist, so I won't doubt you on that. But let's just jump right into the scenario. As usual, with the mystery guests, they come through and they basically pitch a story that's happened in their life and a big decision, a climactic moment where they made a choice, whether good or bad, that they would seek our impression of. What would we do in that situation? Nels, have you got a little story for us? And even better if it's about friendship.
I was about 17 years old, and I was spending New Year's down in Lawn. Everyone back in those days would go down to Lawn for New Year's Eve. It was just a thing to do. You'd go down to the foreshore, you'd party. You'd have a goon sack, and you'd have a good time. We went down to Lawn for this one New Year's, and one of our mates, he was renting out an apartment with his parents in the Mantra on the foreshore at Lawn. He had about six of us.
Another one of the 1% on the podcast.
Must be nice. Must be nice.
Too nice.
He had about six of us staying at that place, and a lot of our friends were staying in Lawn that year, like everyone always did. And we had two girls from Sacred Heart who were staying just further in the town, probably about 2 k's away, up in the Lawn Hills, and they were also staying with one of the girls' families. And it was probably 2 nights after New Year's, and we'd had our big New Year's Eve, and then we were like, still looking for a good time. We were looking to go out, have some fun, drink, get up to some mischief. We were all on one night just be like, oh fuck it, like let's go over to the girls' house. No one wanted to come with us. It was just me and Harry. We were the only 2 ones that wanted to go, and we were like, fuck it, like well, let's just go. But
Harry.
Matt, Matt's a big fan of the show.
Fan of the show.
Anyway, Matt was like, guys, my parents aren't going to let you guys go out. Like, it's not going to happen. And we were like, that's fine. We'll wait till they fall asleep. Once they fall asleep, then we'll sneak out. Then we'll go out. We'll go to the girls' place. We'll stay there for a bit. Then we'll come back. We'll sneak back in.
Sorry, how old are you?
17. Don't you judge me.
Okay.
Anyway, so Harry and I,
That's fine.
Harry and I wait for the parents to fall asleep. Parents fall asleep. And then all the other boys are like, no, we're not coming. We're too pussies. So we're like, okay. So me and Harry will go. So Harry and I sneak out.
Oh, is that what they said?
So yeah, that's what I said. And they said, you boys are the best. We can't do what you do. And so me and Harry snuck out.
Legend. Everyone applauded.
As you walked out.
So Harry and I snuck out, and we get to this place in Lawn, this girl's house, and like they meet us at the door. It's a little side door, and they're like, "Oh, you've got to be really, really quiet," because like we were going into the laundry, and the laundry had 2 doors. One door went to the spare toilet, then the bathroom, then the girls' room, and the other door went through to the parents' bedroom. And so they were like, "You got to be really, really quiet. Like, you got to be calm. Just be quiet, and just we'll let you in. And then you got to be quiet once you're inside. Like we can whisper, but like that's it." Anyway, so Harry and I sneak in, take off our shoes, like do the right thing. Go into the girls' room, and then we're just chilling. I'm chilling with these girls are my friends. So I'm friends with them. Harry was sort of trying to get with one of them, but I was actually friends with the other two. I'm just nice guy. Anyway, so I was just sitting there talking to Claire. Don't laugh at that. What are you fucking laughing at that for?
He's the legend of this story, dude. He can do no wrong. He's this nice guy that everyone is just in awe of. It's amazing, bro.
Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm talking to Claire. And Harry's sitting in between these other two girls. Honestly, it looked like he was about to get with both of them. And he's sitting there, but then Harry starts coughing. And Harry's got a really deep voice. And Harry's like,
oh no.
he does not sound like a girl's cough. And so he's just, and I'm just like, Harry, shut the fuck up. You're going to get us caught. All the girls are like, Harry, just shut the fuck up. Anyway, so we're just
Stop breathing.
Literally, we're trying to smother him. We're putting pillows over his head and he's just like, harder. But we didn't know what to do. And basically we're sitting there and the girl's like, you need to be quiet. Then I look over and I see the light go on underneath the door. And the door goes to the parents' room. And I'm just like, holy fuck, we're screwed. We're done here. And so I just jumped underneath, because one of the girls was on a bed and the other two girls were on mattresses on the ground. And so I was near the bed. And so I just jumped underneath the bed. And the doona went underneath the edges. So I was hidden. I was out of view. And the door swings open and you just hear the dad. He turns on the light and you just hear him, "What are you doing in my house? Get out!" And he just screams at Harry. And Harry's just, sorry. And so Harry gets up. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And so Harry gets up and he goes out and they go to the laundry. They let him outside. As they let Harry outside, I hear them lock the door. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm inside. I'm trapped. And so I'm underneath the bed, just laying there, as stiff as anything, just being
I'm in danger.
I'm just just don't fucking move. Don't fucking move. Don't breathe. Don't move. Don't do anything. Anyway, while the girls are getting lectured to the high heavens and the dad and mum are just ripping into him.
Wow.
How dare you disrespect us? How dare you go against us and sneak these boys in? And I'm just laying there going, oh, they're getting ripped. And I'm just laying there being like, this is great. I'm safe right now, but I've got to get out of here. And Harry's texting me the whole time, and he's just like,
"No,
mate, you need to get out of here. You need to get out of here." And as he's texting me, my phone's just going, doot, doot, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. Anyway, it's at this point I'm going to ask you, what would you do?
Is your phone on you?
Yeah, my phone's on me.
Okay. Well, first thing I'm doing is I'm muting that phone. What are you doing, dude? Silence that bad.
It was on silent. It was vibrating.
Okay. Fair shake. Airplane mode exists, but I'll ignore that for now. It's
my boy's outside. I'm not putting him on airplane mode.
All right. So you're thinking that that they're going to be like, hey, that's weird noises coming from back in that room. About to come and peruse it. Honestly, for me, I'm writing it out, and I'm hoping that the parents think that the mobile buzzing is just someone else's mobile, and I'm staying there until the parents go to work the next day.
You got to remember, it's 2 days after New Year's, so they're not going to work.
Oh, true.
Well, I'm moving in. I'm under that bed for 2 weeks. I'm just.
They're gonna feed you snacks underneath, off the side of the bed.
Yeah. That's my new home. I'm setting up shop. Yeah, Harry's gone. Harry's gone to live his life.
Hang on.
For me.
Hang on. Slow it down. Let's do an environmental analysis here. What are the chances of getting out through the window or through another door?
Are you asking me?
Yes, because Dos doesn't know this room.
Okay. I'll give you the context. I'll give you the context that I had. The only way out is through that laundry door that just got locked.
And God damn, you're 17, man. When I was 17, God, I don't think I would leave the house without my parents.
Man, you're 26 and you still don't leave the house. You only moved out last year.
Wow, dude.
Here we
Come
go.
on, this is the friendship podcast, bro.
No, he's just trying to glorify him again. It's the bat all over again, clapping him out of the room.
I'll bring you down with me.
No, honestly, I'm writing it out no matter what, but I'm very curious to hear what you're doing with this little piece of environmental information that you kept from us.
Dos, what are you doing?
I think Nels still thinks he's in. I think he still thinks there's a chance with these girls.
Yeah, it's one on.
He ain't leaving.
Harry's warmed him up. It's his time to swoop.
It's 1 on 3 now.
Shot. The odds are stacked in his favour.
The true leech play from underneath the bed, dude.
Yeah, I think I would. Honestly, I think I'd dip once the parents, as soon as they go back to bed, are they yelling at the kids in that same room?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, you obviously can't leave.
Yeah, just be like,
you gotta
can I please be
stay."
excused?
Yeah,
I need to
just
be
pop,
here
just
for
pop
this
up
and
from underneath the bed. Excuse me, guys. Obviously, you guys are having a moment here, and I don't think I'm involved.
This sounds like
so-
it's something between you guys.
Yeah, I think I'm
exactly.
just gonna. If I'm gonna steal that key, I'm just gonna, hit the old dusty snail.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hayden's dipping.
All right, now,
Hayden's dipping.
talk us
Poss is
through it.
staying. So the phone's going off,
Yeah.
and Harry's like, "Come on, let's go." And I'm like, "Mate, they just locked the door. I don't know what to do." Anyway, the parents finish up lecturing the girls. They go back into their room. They argue. I can hear the mum being like, "This is your fault, Damien." And Damien's just like, "Oh, she's your daughter. I tell you that much." And I'm just like, "Whoa, okay, someone's heading for a divorce, but that's not my issue." Anyway, so I'm laying underneath
I'll
the
be
bed.
back in 4 years.
I'm laying underneath the bed, and I'm just like, "Fuck, what do I do?" And so I say to Claire, I'm like, "Claire, what do I do?" And she goes, "Just stay there. We'll figure it out in the morning." And I'm like, "No, fuck that." Harry's outside. He's 17. He's gonna walk 2 kilometers back through the middle of the lawn around New Year's time. There's so many idiots on the street.
That's not impressive at all. It's 2 kilometers. Come on.
Sorry, we're not all
sound
running
like
at fucking 1:20 in it. Like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, I've got to get out of here. And I'm saying to Maddie, it's Maddie's house and it's her parents. I'm like, "Maddie, what do I do?"
Shout out
And she
to
just
Maddie.
goes, "If you get it,
Parents are a
Maddie."
big
Shout out
fan
to
of the
Maddie.
show.
She's
Mate, big fan of the show.
always in the DMs.
Big fan. Anyway, she's like to me, like, the only way out is to the laundry. And I'm like, okay, fuck it, fine. I'm going to go to the laundry. And so I get up and I'm using my, Motorola as the phone light to try and, find my way out. And I get to the laundry and it's
1%.
locked. That's when it was confirmed to me, okay, it's locked. And I'm like, shit. And so I go back to Maddie and I'm like, "Maddie," I'm whispering to her, I'm like, Maddie, the door's locked. What do I do?" She goes, "The key is on a hook to the right of the door." And so I go back.
Why aren't they helping?
Oh, she's not getting out of bed. She's like, no. She was scared straight. I don't blame her. Her dad was furious, and so she was like, "I'm not getting into any more trouble."
Do you know he would explode if he saw another dude in that house?
100%. Anyway,
I reckon Nelson's getting the baseball bat at this point.
oh no.
dude.
So I'm just like, no,
There's a
I've got to get
firing
out.
Squad.
I'm like, I've got to get out of here. So I go back to the door. I cannot find the key. And I go back to her. I'm like, "Maddie, you need to come with me. You need to get out of bed. You need to find me the key, and then we'll go." So we go back. She finds the key. She gives it to me. Now, it's one of those old deadlocks, like the thing that looks like a circus tent, like the deadlock that looks like a circus tent, one of them, with a flat on top. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so I put the key in.
Oh, mate.
And
preach.
as soon as it goes round, it is the loudest click of a lock you could ever hear in your life. And
dude.
as soon as it clicked, the light underneath the door went on, and I was just like, "Oh,
You just know he was.
God.
You just know he was sitting in that bed waiting for that sound, waiting for the
as
re-entry,
soon as
waiting
he
for
clicked-
something.
Shotgun on his knees.
Literally, as soon as it
Yeah.
clicked, just bam, the light's on, and I'm like, and I've just opened the door. There's a security screen, like a fly-wire door. I ran into that.
Oh, no.
That was locked, and I'm like, "Duh!" And so
no.
I had to flick the lock on that to unlock it.
Oh, bro.
Open it up, grab my shoes that are on the ground, absolutely piss bolt towards the fence, which is like a 6-foot fence. And I shit you not, I
Wow.
Usain Bolt jumped over that fence in one leap. And there's Harry, and Harry's just on the other side of
And
the fence.
everyone applauded.
Harry's just like, Harry's right
All
there.
his mates were there. His family was there to clap him.
Well, literally,
I'm not even mad anymore. That man's an athlete.
oh, Harry,
He's going places.
Harry's waiting there, and I jump the fence. I put the shoes on, and I just start running. And as I look, I probably get maybe 30 meters away, and I look back, and I just see this bald man under an outside light in the doorway, just looking at us. And I'm just like, oh, I am never going back to Maddie's house ever again. And so, the long story short here is, me and Harry, we got back to the mantra.
This is short
We got
story.
back to, yeah, shut up.
All right, thanks, Nelson. Thanks for jumping on the potty. Appreciate you taking time. It was definitely not quite the story I expected, but we'll roll with it.
Dos, I got a little segment for you. Something new, something a little bit different to add on to the home run part of the podcast. It's called It's called Hear Me Out.
Interesting. I don't like where this is going.
You know that someone's about to say something controversial or something potentially, something that needs some explanation when they say hear me out.
No good idea has ever come from someone
No.
being like, hear me out.
If you've had to say hear me out, it means that you don't want them to interrupt because what you're about to say really requires some strong explaining up front. So Dos, hear me out on this one. This is a contentious issue. I know particularly with you, but I think it's going to potentially get the rise of our listeners as well. I reckon when you go out, you pay good money for a feed. I think that stuffing your face with food for the sake of finishing the meal or what's on your plate, when you've paid good money for that experience, is full-blown idiocy. I honestly think that the feeling of stuffing yourself beyond fullness, beyond your natural limit, just so that you can finish what's on the plate, I reckon that's so dumb. When you've paid money for an experience, for a moment in time, where you should eat it, taste everything, feel the flavors, feel the spice, feel the cultural significance of the dish, and then call it a day. If it's half full, push it away. Great, you're done with it.
Who are you trying to get on side here?
Dos, I know for a fact you're offside. You're offside.
Mate,
But I think
the majority of population.
No.
The whole damn world.
No.
You're not paying. It's not about you. So you're just making this whole dinner about you.
God.
This food, it's about you paid for it. It's yours. You hold ownership over it. So you have to eat it. If you don't eat it, like, it's disrespectful to the chef.
Who cares?
It's just, like, we don't
What are you
tip
talking
people
about?
in Australia. Is this your version of
What?
tipping someone?
What?
Oh.
No, dude. The chef has nothing to do with it. You're right. It's my thing. I own it. I paid for it. It's not the chef's business anymore.
And you paid for it, and yet you deemed it not even good enough to eat it all.
Dude. Oh my God. Listen, mate. It's gone one ear out the other.
Either
I'm
you
saying
don't
that you
value
enjoy
money
it.
or you don't value food.
See, mate, if I didn't value money, I would not finish the meal. I would finish the meal. Hang on.
There we go, folks. That's how you do it.
That's not how you win a debate.
Mate,
Dude. That's not how you win an argument.
That is argument closed.
You called me on a
has to be.
technicality, and I've slipped up, and you're claiming it, and I'm not here for it.
Yeah, you
No,
slipped up on the food you left on the floor.
There we go. Yeah. All right. Well, you've heard me out, brother. I think we've come a long way today. It's kind of therapy.
Yeah, I think we cleared up a few issues, which is good. I guess, which is good because, we want to, thank everybody for the podcast today, listening in.
Yeah.
All 6 people, including Cross's mum, Sally.
6.
Who we do shout out.
We were up to 3 last episode. We've doubled it.
Yeah, I've started to put a bit of peer pressure out on people and some aggressive following of certain females on Instagram. Has got us a few more followers.
Okay, all right. Well, aggressively following females on Instagram isn't exactly a new strategy for you, but I'm glad that you're incorporating the pod. And also, we have been posting it in the big group chat.
Yes.
So hopefully,
We've
of the
expanded.
20 friends that we consider quite close, 1 or 2 of them will watch. That's all you can really expect from friends these days.
That's it. That's what the big group chats are for. That's all you get out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why they're in the big group chat. Well, on that note, thanks to our unofficial sponsor. We're taking any unofficial sponsor, even official sponsors. We've had some really big blue chip companies.
We had to turn down
requesting-
Manscaped, Squarespace. We had to turn down the big ones.
Yeah, some of the huge ones. Raid Shadow Legends, unfortunately, we had to turn them down as well. But, we'll think about it. Try us again. Don't listen to this part if you are actually ready to offer us money, Manscaped, because I do use the thing. But that's enough. Dos, that was it. That's the road guide to making friends, and a little bit of I don't know what to say, a little bit of trash on the end as well.
That's what we do.
And if you want to keep in touch with us, if you want to send us a message. If you've got a problem that you want our evidently intellectual, expert, spiritual advice on, rogue advice, you know what to do. Jump in those DMs, send us a message, jump on the post. We'll have posts up all the time showing the exciting rogue lifestyle we live. For Dos, it's baking cakes, it's screwing in light bulbs. You're on top of it, Dos. For me, all I can really offer is just the great expanse of the Queensland outback, riding horses, racing through all kinds of places, getting in biffs. Horse camp stories.
We might even have to do a whole episode of horse camp stories.
I've got some great advice if you fellas are going to horse camps, that's for sure. But thanks for listening, and you'll be listening to The Road Guide. What do we say? We got you covered. We got you covered.
We got you covered.